Hello, it's Luke with Whipple Sound. Today I'm going to talk to you about the JTS UF-20R receiver, the JSS-20 handheld transmitter, and the UF-20TB body pack transmitter. JTS makes a good product. We've got to know them fairly well over the last couple of weeks. And I'm going to talk to you about a few of the neat features that we sure like about these. One of those is the remote set feature, where you can remotely synchronize the transmitters to the receiving unit, not over infrared like the majority of the products out there, but over wireless, which is pretty neat. We'll show you that here in a second. So this UF-20R receiver has a 75 megahertz super wideband frequency range. It's a dual channel unit. There is a single channel unit available if you don't need the dual channel. It's a true diversity, comes with two half-wave antennas. It's got built-in power and RF cascade, so if you've got multiple units, you can just daisy chain the power, daisy chain the RF without the need for an RF combiner. JTS says the range on these is 200 to 480 meters, which equates to about 650 to 1500 feet. In our real-world testing the other day, we were outdoors in a sports complex. We were able to get 950 feet of reliable transmission before we started to have some signal loss, and that also coincided with some terrain changes that were out there. I'll post a couple of pictures of where we were standing when we started to see the dropouts, but more than adequate for anything that we would do typically. And so one of the things I really like about this unit is just how quick it comes up to speed. This right here is the JSS-20 handheld transmitter. This right here, the UF-20R receiver. Look how quick it boots up. It's fully booted. And now I will power on the transmitter. Transmitter's powered on, ready to go, and I'm in full operation mode. One thing you'll notice is when I'm live and active, the orange backlight is on. If I were to turn this off or mute it, right now it's muted, you see how it goes red, which makes it easy to know the operational state of that. Now on this JSS-20 handheld transmitter, it does have a really sturdy metal case. It takes double A batteries, which you can see right in there, hideaway. And then you get to the menu for settings by sliding up this cover. And so if you're doing video or other things, you know, really good, clean looking unit. For those that do like to color code and identify their microphones, you've got that included with the package as well. A couple other things we'll point you to, and I'll power it off. JTS, as good as they are, still not on all the writers, but you can take off the capsule that comes with it and put on a capsule from, for example, this Shure SM58. We happen to have a lot of Shure inventory, and it's nice to know that with these JTS units, we can go ahead and use the capsules that we have in inventory, and you know, just like that, I'm now talking through an SM58. Similarly, let's say that they want one of the Shure condenser mics. We can place that on, this being a Beta 87A, and it powers it up just fine and works well. And then while we are talking transmitters, let's also show you this this body pack transmitter. You probably noticed the handheld was in a case. body pack transmitters come in a case as well. Similar to the other, takes AA batteries. It does have the wherewithal to put it in a charging sled if you use rechargeable batteries. This one has a small power on button here that won't get accidentally hit by performers, but you can lock that feature out as well. It's also got a mute function, pretty easy to see if you're muted, both on the receiver as well as on the transmitter. And then when you go live, the body pack transmitter turns green, the receiver turns yellow. So I like that. And JTS comes with several different microphones or cables. You could use it to broadcast your guitar. You can use it to broadcast voice. You can attach to instruments with instrument microphones. And just like the handheld transmitter, the body pack transmitter will take your Shure compatible microphones. So if you've got specific ones that you've used that you like, you can use those with this system as well. And once again, we went through the JTS UF-20R receiver, the JSS-20 handheld transmitter, and the UF-20TB body pack transmitter. One of the neat things that I really like, that I keep forgetting to tell you, is this remote set. And so you push the button, you don't need line of sight, and it syncs. Just as simple and easy to that, and it's got quite a range as well. Thanks again. This has been Luke with Whipple Sound. We are JTS dealers. If you'd like to try out a JTS unit or are ready to purchase, go ahead and contact us. Thanks. Hello, it's Luke with Whipple Sound. We're going to give you a little more in-depth view of the JTS UF-20R receiver, the JSS-20 handheld transmitter, and the UF-20TB body pack transmitter. And we'll go ahead and turn them on. They do boot up fairly quick. Here is the power switch on the bottom of the JSS-20 handheld transmitter. And then we'll go ahead and turn on the body pack transmitter as well, which is just right here, is the power on button. One of the things I really like about the JTS products, and this applies not only to the UF-20R receiver, but also some of the lower end models as well, is they've got the ability to remotely sync the transmitter to the receiver, not using short distance line of sight infrared like many of the manufacturers, but by using a radio frequency. And so, for example, on this one right here, I've currently got it set up as device ID 1. The channel that it's programmed to is different than the channel of the transmitter. But if I go ahead and push this button here, it goes ahead and picks that up and synchronizes it, and now it's synced to the receiver. Now I'm a pretty short distance here, just for the purpose of the video, but you could easily synchronize this transmitter to this unit here, so long as you're on the same device ID, which is something you set in the menu of the transmitter. You know, when a performer's up on stage. So let's say you're up at the monitor mix station on the side of the stage, and your performer's on stage with that. You're getting a little bit of interference. You can change the wireless frequency or some of the other parameters that will go through here remotely, just by making the updates here and go ahead and pushing that button. And so let's zoom in over here on the handheld transmitter, and we'll go through some of the features that you see. So right up here on the top, you see the little antenna symbol with the B. That's showing that right now on this True Diversity unit, antenna B is the one that's carrying the signal. There you can see where our volume's at and the device ID. You've also got a battery level indicator. Lets you know how much battery use you've got left. Up here in the top where it says HH, that's the device name that I called this, and it does translate over to the receiver right here where it says handheld, and I did mute it as well just so you can see that when it's muted it turns red and says mute on as well on the transmitter. To put it on and take it off mute, you simply just push the power button once and it does that for you. Also over here you can see the group and the channel. It does have 15 groups. In each of those groups, 63 channels. Like with any wireless unit, you want to stick to the same group with all your transmitters. It does have a built-in group scan function, so you can determine which group in your particular location has the most available channels, and then from there you can pick your, do a channel scan, assign your channels. It also shows the actual frequency that you're broadcasting at. These units do operate in the US legal range. There is some concern now with the sell-off of the 600 megahertz band and the previous sell-off of the 700 megahertz band as far as will my equipment be usable and how long will it be usable for. Nice thing about these units, they've got 75 megahertz tuning bandwidth, which as the TV channels start to pack in to the available space, you've got a higher likelihood of finding available channels for your production needs, whether it's a wedding or for a DJ, or even for bands or other performers that use wireless technology. And so to get to the menu, you simply hold down this button here. You can adjust frequency, the group and the channel, the user group. You can do your scans to find those open frequencies, and that's something you should do at each location. Squelch settings, the device ID. This right here is where you choose a number between 0 and 255. That number will need to be set the same on the transmitter through its menu, and then when you push, say, this button to sync it, it'll only sync to this receiver and not any of the others. And then down here there's a mic configuration. Let's go through that one. So that's got sensitivity, and that's where you're going to adjust your gain, attenuate, low cut. This is pretty neat, especially if you're running on like a DJ board or something like that doesn't have all the features of a live soundboard. You can actually go in here and add a low cut on there to the microphone, which might be desirable for vocals and so forth, where you don't want all that low frequency noise. And so I'll go ahead and save that. And then RF power, you've got a high mode or a low mode. That'll allow you to adjust how much output the transmitter has. In a lot of environments, it's nice to use the lowest possible setting for multiple reasons, but that's a discussion for another day. There's also a key lock where you can lock out the controls on the transmitter, so a performer or another that's using the unit doesn't accidentally change settings. And this right here is the remote set configuration, where you can go through and pick what features will synchronize when you hit the button. One of them that's not checked by default is this username, and I check that. It's a lot easier to input names and things here on the receiver than it is on the transmitter. And down here, just regular return that takes you back to the main menu. There's also volume that you can adjust in here. An equalizer, I'd recommend using the equalizer on your soundboard if you have it, but if you don't, there is one built into here as well. And then you've got your output level, your antenna power, your username. So for example, on this one, that's where I have named this one HH for handheld. But let's say your lead singer's name's Bob. You could go in here and then just type Bob, which I won't do. You can adjust contrast, and then you can just reset the unit if you'd like. And so quite a few features here in the menu. It is a full-featured system, comparable to, feature-wise to a lot of the tour grade systems that people will use, but at a price point that's affordable for most. And for those where this is a little out of reach, you can get similar features on some of the lower end models, whether it's a single channel that you're looking for and don't need the dual, or whether you just want something a little less expensive. They've got other units with similar features, not as many features as this obviously, but still good value for the money, and that's what a JTS brings to the table. So hopefully this has been useful for you. Once again, this has been Luke with Whipple Sound. Please feel free to contact us if you've got any questions about JTS, if you'd like to try out some of their units, or if you're ready to buy. Thanks. Have a great day.